Welcome to the world's #1 fitness business podcast for health club owners, gym managers, and fitness entrepreneurs. As always, this will be a great show as we have another expert to help your fitness business and your career. We'd like to thank our premier sponsor, Active Management, for supporting us, and we highly recommend becoming a member of Active Management to strengthen your business in 2016. There are loads of resources members receive, so join the Active Tribe today at www.activemgmt.com.au. Now that's enough from me. Let's welcome the show's amazing host, Chantal. What's on this week's show?
Thank you so much, Harper. Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special week of the show. Over the past 12 months, I have come across some amazing stories of business owners who have raised money for charities or increased awareness about causes that are important to them. And all the time, I hear about fitness businesses of all shapes and sizes that want to do something to give back to their local community or a charity. But sometimes it's hard to know where to start or what to do. So this week I've spoken to two different businesses who have each approached this quite differently and who have both made an incredible difference in their community as a result. So I'm really thrilled to be sharing this week's show with you all. I hope that it inspires you and I hope that it encourages you to take some action on a project that you are passionate about. Now, since that we are on the topic of giving back, I actually wanted to send out a virtual high five to JT from Active Management. I'm sure that most of you have seen that Facebook campaign that's going around. I know that it is flooding my newsfeed, and it's 22 push-ups for 22 days. And it's all around raising awareness for mental health challenges facing veterans. It's a really, really good campaign. It's getting a lot of coverage. And whilst doing the push-ups is awesome, it's really, really great, and it's no doubt raising awareness, what JT has done is that he's actually pledged to donate $22 for 22 days, which is a whopping $484 to Soldier On, who support those who have served by focusing on their physical, their mental health, their family, their community, and their future. So if anyone else would like to support this important cause, I've included the website in today's show notes. And once again, a really huge high five to JT from Active Management and to all of you who are taking part in 22 push-ups for 22 days. Tribe, as you know, finding the right guests and the right topics is a really important part of our show because I want to make sure that we're always interviewing people that will add value to your business and make sure that we're always giving you information to strengthen your business. So if you've ever got any suggestions or requests on guests, on speakers, on topics, just remember that you can email me at any time. My direct email address is chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. So hit me up.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
Collaborative thinking to solve business challenges. Sound like a good idea? Just one advantage of Rex Roundtables in Australia, Europe, and the US. Go to rexroundtables.com. Tribe, this week's flashback show is show 17 with special guest Reese Kudafani from Anytime Fitness. During the show, Reese shared with us some great ways that they connect with their local community, which I thought was quite fitting given today's Give Back show. So if you missed that show, go back and check it out. That is show 17, and you can find it on iTunes or at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Last but not least, remember last week I was telling you that I was a little bit nervous about interviewing John Lee Dumas, who is the podcaster extraordinaire who made $3 million from podcasting last year? Well, I did the interview and I had nothing at all to be nervous about. It was actually really great. He is super, super cool and incredibly good at what he does. And he had some really great business advice that I just cannot wait to share with you guys in a few weeks' time. So the interview with JLD is coming up in show 72, which is released on Podtober the 10th. And yes, I did say Podtober. So to make sure that you don't miss it, make sure you subscribe at the show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Tribe, like I said, this week's show is all about giving back. And our first guest, or I should say our first guests, have done an incredible job of doing just that. Bruce and Kim Burke founded Fitness Consultants Incorporated in 1986. These days, the business is known as One-on-One, and it's one of the largest personal training studios in the US, doing between 500 and 600 personal training sessions each week. The Burke's passion lies in helping community members live healthier lives through the numerous service initiatives that they have created together. These initiatives include the Nutrition Habit Challenge and their Give Back program, which has raised over $250,000 for local charities. Tribe, it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to today's guests. I first want to start off by introducing you to the owners of One-on-One Fitness, Kim and Bruce Burke. Welcome to the show, Kim and Bruce.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Chantal.
Thanks so much for joining me. And also, I've got a third guest today, which is really exciting, and it's the Director of Business Development, Ryan Burke. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Hi, Chantal. Thank you.
I feel a bit of a family business happening here.
Yep, this is one of those ma and pa's that is just continuing on to the next generation.
I love that. I love that. Well, look, thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm going to start, Kim, by asking you, do you want to tell us a little bit about how One-on-One Fitness first got started?
Sure. So, about 30 years ago, before anybody really knew what personal training was, Bruce had this brilliant idea that it might be a good idea to veer away from the typical health club model and really start focusing on results-oriented programming for people. And, I was graduating with my degree in exercise science from Penn State. I needed to do an internship, so I joined this new company of his, and we just got busy. And it has been just an amazing 30 years of building this thing to the point that, we're successful enough that we are now grooming the next generation to take it to the next level.
That is so exciting. Ryan, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about what the facility is like these days.
Yeah, Chantal. For the past 30 years, our mission has always been to provide results-oriented programming. And nowadays, we're learning that it requires more for an individual to get results than just personal training and workouts. So we're still providing a fantastic fitness experience, but our goal nowadays is to be the wellness solution for the public. So that means we have this three-pronged approach where we want to deliver the best in fitness, nutrition, and also in personal development. A lot of individuals, they have the education when it comes to the fitness and the nutrition. They know what they need to do. They just need to do it. But their limiting factors can be an unhealthy mindset, a lack of accountability, a lack of vision. And so our team members are trained to represent this three-pronged approach to support individuals with their fitness, nutrition, and personal development. And on a more macro level, we provide services within those three areas.
And tell me a little bit more about those services, because I love the sound of that three-pronged approach. So dive into that just a little bit more for me, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. So with fitness, we provide personal training, small group training, and large group training. And we really want to get an individual into a program that best suits their needs. Typically, we start individuals in a personal training setting, getting them set up for success from the outset, and then they phase into maybe a smaller or large group training. With the nutrition, we're really excited. We hired a full-time registered dietitian.
Wow.
So she is on our staff full-time, and she provides education for our clients and our staff, and she does individual consulting. Now, the personal development is really what's unique. We've created a new program, which is actually our current Give Back program. So this is our part of our Give Back program, and this program is called the Prize Club. And this is our habit-changing program for those individuals that tell us, I know what I need to do, I just need to do it. So the individuals that yo-yo, the individuals that never really sustain the long-term healthy lifestyle that they want, this program gives them the tools they need to succeed. So that's what the Prize Club is about. It's about helping them realize a prize, a long-term vision for their life. We provide them accountability and also education when it comes to habit change.
That is such an important part of that getting results that you talked about earlier, and I really love the sound of that. And you're quite right, it is quite a unique approach that you've taken. Now, you mentioned briefly then, Ryan, about the Give Back campaign. Bruce, perhaps you can tell us, because that's what really got our attention about you guys, about One on One Fitness, was your Give Back campaign, because I believe, tell me if I'm right, that you have raised over $250,000 since 2009. Is that correct?
Well, actually, it's only been $246,000.
I'm gonna have to sack the research team. That is phenomenal. Bruce, do you want to tell us about the Give Back campaign?
Yes, certainly. Thank you. It is phenomenal. It feels great. It's great for our community, and it's really, really great for our business. And that's what something I want to share with you and with all your listeners. We started it in 2009, and the main objective was for us to simply leverage our giving. We all give to our local communities, all small business owners that are successful in any way are giving back to their community. We wanted to leverage our giving instead of just giving money and making donations. We got creative and created this Give Back initiative where we would provide programming for individuals where they would come, they would participate in our programs and pay our selected charities directly. They would write the checks, they would get a tax deduction, make the checks directly to the charities. Our thought was if we can provide $10,000 worth of services and raise $20,000 for our charities, we're really moving the needle. Mm-hmm. And that was our objective. I mean, that's the way that we started it. What we didn't realize was what an unbelievable marketing benefit we would get from that and all of the intangible benefits that came from the program.
Bruce, can you talk to me a little bit more about that? Talk to me about what were those additional benefits that you received off the back of this campaign? Well,
we got, first of all, what's as heartwarming as anything else has been the goodwill. Mm-hmm. And amongst not just our clients, but amongst our staff, amongst everybody that knows about what we're doing, that's close to what we're doing. Our staff feels great to be partnering with us in this. Our clients, they think, geez, this is a wonderful organization to be a part of. We didn't even think about the significant impact of this goodwill would have on our business, for starters. That's kind of an intangible. From there, we ended up twice winning our the Chamber of Commerce mm-hmm. Corporate Philanthropy Award, which was just wonderful that our local businesses voted and recognized us as being leaders in our community. We had our charities ended up commenting on us, and now they comment and refer to us regularly in their annual reports. They reference us on their websites. It's really been quite amazing. I got to tell you. And it's been a great entree to new specific groups and businesses. It's easy for us to go and say if we're going to, like with our lecture series, if we want to go and say we would like to come in, we'd like to talk to you about whatever, health in the workplace, exercise fundamentals, or whatever it might be, we can go and we'll do that for the cost of a donation.
That's fantastic.
It is.
It sounds like it's obviously opened up a lot of community-based opportunities. It's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of relationships that you've been able to build externally. But I love that it's also had the roll-on effect of benefiting you internally with staff and members and stuff like that, which is really, really brilliant to hear. Kim, perhaps you could tell us, this is a big campaign that you've had for many, many years now. Did you come across any hurdles, when you went about launching the program, or have you found that you've had to make any modifications over the years since running it?
Sure. Well, I would say the only hurdle that we've come across was that first year, just really believing that this was the right thing to do, because it cost us a little bit more to provide it than it did in what we raised in year one. So that was probably the only hurdle that we have had to overcome. But since then, the program has just really, really taken off. And if I could just go back to 2009 and how did we come up with this whole thing? If you remember in 2009, that's when the economy was really taking a downturn. And I remember having a senior staff meeting in our living room going, okay, what are we going to do? Because, those of us that are in the service industry, of course, you're thinking this is probably going to be one of those things that people are going to start thinking about cutting out of their lifestyle. So, as a personal training business, we didn't really have a lower price point option in our facility. So our first reaction was we need to create some services at a lower price point to, because we just didn't know what was going to happen. And the more we thought about it, the more we thought, hold on, what are we doing here? We're worried about ourselves. What about all these other, like charitable organizations that they're really going to be the ones who are hurting? And all of a sudden it hit us. What we need to do is we need to start providing a group training program, which we didn't provide at that time. And instead of asking participants to write their checks to one-on-one, we're going to ask them to write them out directly to one of our 2 chosen charities. And, it was like in that moment, instead of running in fear of, oh no, what's going to happen to us, we just decided to give it away. And so that first year went, okay, hold on a second. We just spent more than we were able to raise. It would have been easy to go, oh, I don't know if this is but you know what? We pushed through. We have been, so blessed by this community that we live in that it has just been a real pleasure. And then the really cool thing was like, okay, we got up and running. Now we're providing group training as our major give back offering. And within a couple of years, we started thinking about it some more. And, we started thinking about at the holidays, clients love to gift their trainers. And we gave them the option of making a donation in their trainer's name to one of the 2 chosen charities, and then one-on-one would match that donation. And it was so unbelievable, because here we have these, relatively young people working for us who, as much as they would like to be giving to these charities, they just don't have it in them to do so. So all of a sudden they realized that they were part of something so much bigger than themselves. So, we went from providing our group training service as part of our give back offering to our employee holiday bonus program, as Bruce mentioned earlier, providing lectures for local businesses, and instead of paying us, making the donation. And then, as Ryan mentioned, we just recently launched the Prize Club, and that is also being done as a way to raise money for the charities.
It's such a beautiful, heartwarming thing that you have done, and I want to applaud you on what you've done, because it's just it really is sounding like a campaign that is making a difference to yourselves, your business, your staff, and the community, which is just amazing. I'm going to leave you with one last question. We've got a number of tribe out there that are listening that are probably thinking they would like to do something like this. They will be inspired by the words that you're telling us and the story that you've shared with us. Bruce, perhaps you can tell us, is there any advice that you can give our listeners on how they can go about developing a program like Give Back?
Sure. I was hoping you'd ask that question. First of all, this isn't a marketing gimmick. So the whole objective to begin with should be to create goodwill and awareness in your community. All right. So that should be the objective. The business part of it, the benefits that you'll get as a business will follow that. But don't try to mix the two. Start by just focusing on those basic objectives. Then from there, pick a couple of local charities. They shouldn't, give something. There's tons of good charities out there, but you want to choose charities that aren't only going to make a difference in your local community, but that have broad appeal. You don't want to have, for us, we've chosen Center Volunteers in Medicine, which provides healthcare and dental services to the needy. That has broad appeal. It's not like one thing, one small problem. It has broad appeal. Our second charity is the Center County Youth Service Bureau, which provides support services to at-risk youth. So to us, those are two wonderful charities that we always supported that has broad appeal. Do that. So when you're choosing those charities, I think it's important to go in, talk to the charities, tell them what you're doing, and tell them that you're doing this because you believe in what they do, but they also need to know that you're doing this for your business. And you're going to want their support. You're going to raise money for them, and you want their support. And if they ask for examples, you can use some of the examples that I talked about earlier, getting some recognition on their websites, talking to their board of directors. We have the board of directors and all the employees are pretty much working for us here to market this program. Let them know what it is you want to do. That is not wrong. You're doing them a huge service. They're getting this fundraiser, costs them nothing, takes no time for their staff. Choose your charities, then choose your services. All right. For us, we started with group training. Our group training is now a for-profit service. We've made our newest program, the Prize Club, part of our group training, our Give Back initiative. So it's a great way to get a new program off the ground. All right. People, it feels good to be able to come in and make a donation to charity. So there's a benefit to doing that. Choose your services, whatever they may be. Have the clients make their checks directly to the charities. I think that's important. Not only do they get a tax write-off, but they also know that it's not a marketing scam. It's not like pay us and we'll give a percentage of it to charity. Oftentimes people do that with the most noble of intentions and do a lot of good, but it could be perceived as a marketing gimmick, and that's not what this is. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, that's where you go. That's how you start it. And, there's a bunch of different things you can use. Kim talked a little bit about our holiday bonus initiative. I don't know if it was totally clear when she shared that, but, our clients, instead of giving gift cards to our staff or whatever, they make these donations up to $250. When they do that, they give us the check to the charity, and then we write a bonus check at the end of the year to our employees in their name. So it ends up costing us. We're really not leveraging anything there, but it's such a great way to support these charities and support our staff. Instead of getting some gift cards or whatever, they're getting money, and they're also helping the charities out at the same time, as Kim pointed.
Absolutely. Bruce, thank you so much for sharing that advice. I think you've given us some really clear guidelines and advice for the tribe to follow if they're keen to look at starting their own program to give back. So look, Kim, Bruce and Ryan, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the show today and for sharing your experience with this program. Again, I just have to honestly applaud you on what you've been able to achieve. Close to $250,000 having been raised for those charities within your community is something that all of you should be incredibly proud of. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story today with our Tribe of the Fitness Business podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chantal.
Our second guest today is someone I know well, and I am thrilled to see him go from a coaching client of mine to being a guest on our show. Dave Oakerby was in the military for 9 years before changing careers. He's been in the fitness industry for 5 years, working in gyms both in New Zealand and in Australia. He started his career like many personal trainers do, working in a large commercial gym, and he now runs his own functional fitness business, Onward Fitness, as well as being the founder and the president of Manwood. Dave, do you want to start off by telling us all about Onward Fitness?
Yeah, sure, Chantel. So Onward Fitness is an independently owned functional fitness gym in Caboolture, Queensland. That's what is on the surface, but underneath, I empower people. So that's my vision. That's what I like to do. That's what I want to do. So it's all about empowering people from the inside out. So I place a big emphasis on really making better human beings as well as getting results. So it's if you can imagine, quite an exciting place to be and train.
Absolutely. And having seen, the photos that you put up on Facebook and on your website, you can tell that you have over a period of time already started to build a community through Onward Fitness. Now, how about you tell us about Manward?
Yeah, so Manward is something I kind of fell into, to be honest. It's grown organically since then. But what I mean by that is I wasn't actively searching for something to create as a community project. I was actually looking for something for myself. Being a business owner and whatnot, many people could probably relate to. It's pretty much homework type scenario. And so I was looking for something for me to join, like a men's group as such. And what I found is I just couldn't find anything that appealed, either, I guess, an attraction or more specifically my age group. So Manward sort of fell out from that. I just decided one day, why not create my own? And as they say, the rest is history. So that's how it sort of started. So why it's important is I researched some statistics on male suicide, and I found out that 75% of all suicides in Australia and subsequently all in New Zealand as well are male. So that sort of screamed to me that it's a huge problem in this country and also New Zealand and probably the Western world, to be honest, of men of being disconnected and not connecting with themselves or with their families or those close to them. And so that was really the impetus to get something going, and it's just blossomed from there.
Dave, give us a bit of a bird's eye view for someone that is involved in Manward, for one of the people that are a part of this group. What does that mean? What do they do? Give us a bit of a view on that.
So Manward, we get together once a month on a Friday night, and essentially we all just some of the guys are from Onward Fitness and half of them aren't. They're just local men, and yeah, we get together and have a bit of a chat to start with. Essentially, we do a tough workout that I've designed, and I do it with them. So there is no trainer, coach, student approach. We're all in this together. So we do that, and we really give it heaps. And afterwards, the barbecue's fired up. People that can eat after a workout will eat. Those that can't will have their protein shakes, etc. And essentially we just chat, and there's no agenda as such. So we're not, or I don't want them to feel forced that they must talk about something. Simply just being in a group of guys is therapy for some of them. So, and I just want to say that not everyone's got problems or anything. It's just an opportunity for guys to get away from work, get away from their family for an hour and a half once a month, and just be around like-minded guys.
That's brilliant. So what sort of feedback have you received so far?
Feedback has been pretty overwhelming. It's been pretty awesome. Naturally, family and friends are supportive, probably by default, but I have heard some pretty good stuff from people within the fitness industry. So those that have been sort of 10, 15, 20 or 20 plus years have just said to me, what an amazing concept, and wish me all the best. And a couple of, I guess, names to drop that have supported them or supported the idea is Commando Steve from Biggest Loser. Awesome. He's I'm in contact with him, and he's really keen to sort of see how it's going and also to catch up. And Fitness Australia rang me about 4 weeks ago, and it came across their desk, and which surprised me because I'm only a small local gym in Queensland. So to have them ring me up was pretty amazing. So they just wanted to know about exactly what you guys want to know, and I was happy to share. So there's a couple of examples of how it's growing so fast.
That's terrific, Dave. So let's talk about the future. I mean, what does the future hold for Manwood?
Future it's got a massive scope on it, and it's exciting for that too. So at the moment, we've got a committee together because I actually want to eventually separate Manwood from Onward Fitness and make it its own identity. So the vision is to turn it into a non-for-profit organisation where it can essentially branch out to any state or any region within Australia, any fitness centre, whether that's a mainstream one or an independent one, and they can take up the program themselves within their own community and just collectively help as many Australian men as we can. So that's the future, and I definitely see it as a game changer for the fitness industry, and probably more so for male support groups as a whole. So yeah, it's looking good.
That's phenomenal. Can you maybe leave us with a couple of pieces of advice that you would give to any of our tribe out there that are in a similar situation to you? Perhaps they're passionate about a particular cause, or there's something that they really want to do, whether they're a big or a small business. Can you maybe give us 3 bits of advice for developing your own community-based program?
Yeah, sure. So the number one, and I sort of mentioned this earlier, is I researched some statistics. So the number one thing I would say is you do your research. And I'm talking about whether or not there is something already out there, maybe filling that gap that you're intending to do. Because if that's the case, you might find that working with that group might be a better outcome than starting your own one. In my sense, there wasn't a group to merge with, so I had to create it. But do as much research as you can, especially on your target market and all that type of stuff. That's probably number one. Number 2 is, because you are doing something outside your comfort zone and you're doing it with passion, definitely self-belief. You've got to have an immense wealth of self-belief, because especially for me, starting Manwood, you could get a lot of no's. I haven't had many no's, but maybe as I grow to go nationwide, then I could get a lot of people possibly closing the door. And I know how good this product or vision is, and I know what it's doing already. So the self-belief in myself is right up there. It's really strong. So you've got to keep that. You've got to have that to start with. I'd say the last one is probably it's no biggie. It's something that's the staple of every business, and that's your why. You really must have that as a cornerstone, your reason why you're doing it. Now, as I said earlier, I sort of fell into this and I looked up some stats, but also a little bit about me. I am ex-military, so that's my background, and I've had a few friends that are no longer with us. And so a motivation for me is to help people in that situation to not end it that way. So my why is coming from a real personal space as well. So it's really important to have that as well as what you're trying to achieve. So those are probably my big 3: research, self-belief, and why.
Dave, thank you so much for sharing that with that, and thanks for your honesty as well. And I want to say just a huge congratulations for what you've already achieved. And I realise it's only early days for the idea, but I'm really excited to see how Manwood develops over time. And thank you for sharing your experience with starting up this community-based program with all of our tribes. So hopefully we can see others follow your lead in the local areas as well. So thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Dave.
Thanks, Chantel, and thanks, listeners. And if you got an idea, just go for it.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
Active Management members receive 4 resources every month to help them lead their business and make their life easier. Check out some samples at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. They are free. That is www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. Tribe, these have been just 2 examples of some of the wonderful work that's happening in the fitness industry. We have even more great stories that have come in from around the globe, and I'm really, really excited to share those with you in the months ahead. And of course, if you have a story to share, email me at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com.
Quickfire 5.
Tribe, it's with great pleasure that I say a very warm welcome to today's guest. It is Rachel Bevans, the Managing Director for Strategy and Planning at the Healthy Brand Company. Welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you for that introduction.
Now, very, very excited to have you on today, and I'll give everyone the heads up. You are a little bit husky this morning, coming off the back of a bit of a losing your voice, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. It's just, we don't get sick at the Healthy Brand Company.
Of course
we
not.
just keep going and ploughing through.
Tribe, I said, I know that Rachel loves her training, and I said to her, have you taken time off training? And of course, what was your answer?
You don't have to talk when you're lifting weights.
The mentality of someone that loves exercise. So look, let's get into your quick fire 5. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Tell us, why do you do what you do?
For what I call the goosebumps moment. So that's when I'm in working with clients and all of a sudden everyone gets really excited about where we've landed.
Oh, I love it. And what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
I think one of my bosses about sort of 10 years into my job when I was working up the career ladder said to me, "You're great at having this vision." He said, "You've just got to remember that you can't get there all at once. You've got to do it in bite-sized chunks."
That is very good advice.
Yeah.
And Rachel, what's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
I have to say consistency. So I think consistency overall gets results. And it also enables you to be freed up for spontaneity also when things go out of control if you're consistent through everything throughout your life.
And what's one book that you'd recommend and why?
There's a great book I read a couple of years back called, it's by Denise Van Yon, and it's called What Great Brands Do. And it gives you 7 key principles for branding, building a great brand, and gives you some great examples there of some of the great brands like Starbucks and Trader Joe's, etc., that have done really great stuff.
Great book. Thanks for that recommendation. And why should our tribe stick around and listen to the main interview?
Well, I think that I've learned a lot over the last 23 years, and I've always been in branding. I absolutely love brands and have been doing that all my life. So I've done that across different brands, audiences, countries and industries. And some people are working within one business and have done an absolutely awesome job within one business. And it's just a matter of bringing in some new thinking potentially, and something that I do on an everyday basis, just like your listeners mainly, work in fitness on an everyday basis, and I could learn from them too.
Well, I'm really excited to be having you on the show because I know for sure that there's going to be a lot of great takeaways in the main show. So thank you so much for joining us, Rachel, and we can't wait to welcome you back.
Pleasure.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast Wrap.
This week's takeaways are the top tips for starting a give back initiative in your own business. Bruce from One on One said to choose the charities that you want to give to first, then choose the service within your business that you want to use as the channel to raise awareness or to raise funds. He also says have the clients make their donation directly to the charity so they see where their money's going. Dave from Onward Fitness said do as much research as you can to truly understand your target. He said you've got to have self-belief about the project that you're working on, and you must know your why. You must know that reason why you are doing this. Before I let you go, I just have a quick word from one of our wonderful former guests. This is Lisa Simone Richards.
Hey there, this is Lisa Simone Richards, and I was a guest on episode 58 of the Fitness Business Podcast. You've been listening to yet another outstanding episode with an amazing guest. If you know someone else in the industry who could benefit from listening to the podcast, please go ahead and share the show via email, Facebook, or Twitter. Just check out this week's show notes because they make it super easy for you to share it. And if you want some amazing tips on how to connect with your perfect client using media and publicity, check out my episode. You'll find out all about how to find the right media, how to connect with them, how to pitch them, and then essentially gain credibility, clients, and coverage. Just go to www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com and then go ahead and plug my name into the search bar, Lisa Simone Richards, and my show will pop up. So that's it for this week. Make sure you tune in next week when Chantel interviews another amazing guest.
Thank you so much, Lisa Simone. What an absolute legend. Tribe, thank you for joining me for another week of the Fitness Business Podcast. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
Great show this week that you should be suffering DOMs, delayed onset mind soreness, as you are overloaded and that's when your mind is strengthened. You and your business have been strengthened thanks to the amazing support of our premier sponsor, Active Management. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au only if you want to strengthen your business and your leadership. Don't forget all today's links and notes are found at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, where you can also subscribe and never miss a show and maybe win a prize. Next week is another incredible guest with Chantal, so get ready for more Fit Bizpiration.